Hey everybody, this is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer, and welcome to a new playthrough video. Today I'm playing Starforged, another episode. This is a sci-fi RPG. You can play it cooperatively, but I'm playing it solo. And we are going to pick up where we left off in the last episode, but let me give a quick summary. In the last episode, my captain, Jax, he was assigned a job by one of the Wayfarers' higher-ups. The name was Kira Sedano. Kira has tasked him to take his ship Astralis and go investigate a series of coordinates that were discovered on a precursor ship. The precursor ships, usually when they're discovered, they're usually wrecked, ruined, can't power them up. They're just sort of, they're ruins. But one was recently discovered on the planet near the settlement called Providence, and they were actually able to provide power to it momentarily to power up its database. And in doing so, they were able to take some screen captures or some photographs of some of the information. And one of them, after some investigation, they believe that they deciphered it and it provided a set of coordinates. And so Jax has been tasked with taking the ship and going out to these coordinates, which are not in the main, Starfarer lanes. But this is kind of what he does in his previous, his previous mentor has died recently, and Kira was actually worried the ship was going to be taken from him, or he was going to be transferred to a different ship. But they figure since he knows the ship and he knows the area, and these coordinates are not super far away from where they currently are. They're willing to take a chance, the Wayfarers, and give Kira a chance to prove himself. And so we're going to pick up right there. And Kira's ship is supplied. My character is starting out with a full set of supplies, so the ship was ready to go when he received the instructions to come to the Bulwark Station, which is an orbital, and that's where he got the job. So as he's leaving the meeting with Kira Sedano, his mind is racing. Jax is unsure about himself. I mean, this is his first assignment that he is doing on his own. He does not have a backup. He wasn't assigned a second person for the ship. Normally, the Wayfarer ships operate in pairs, a mentor and an apprentice, and he was not given anybody. So he feels like maybe he's being tested, but he also is a little worried that he's been given something beyond his readiness for. Now, Jax wants to successfully do the job, and he wants to make Kira happy, but he also, like I said, he's a little nervous about going out on his own. So as he gets back to the ship has an AI, and the AI's name, by the way, is Dervish, Dervish. Dervish has a female countenance, voice, and she helps him run the ship. She keeps up with all the data and things like that. As soon as he arrives to the ship, she interrupts him and says, "I see we have a new assignment." And Jax confirms it, and the data has been transferred to the ship. And in the 5 minutes since he left the office to get on the ship, she has examined the data backwards and forwards. And Dervish tells him, I've looked over the data, and I agree. I think these are coordinates that can match to our current mechanics of coordinates. And I've already performed the calculations and verified them, and I believe the Wayfarers are correct. These are coordinates that we can visit, although it's out in the middle of nowhere. There is no, if we have any ships that have gone out this way, there are no reports of anything out this way. So we truly are on our own. There are no outposts, no known travel or merchant lanes or anything that of that nature, and so we're truly going out into the unknown. Now, Jax Dervish can read Jax, but Jax hasn't figured that out. And so Jax is trying to be very confident, and he tells Dervish, prep the ship, double check the math on the coordinates, and let's prep for leaving. And so one of the things I need to do right now is I need to check his stress level again, because again, this is something that he's not used to. He's facing mental strain. So I am going to make a roll, and if you didn't watch the last episode, you roll a d6 and you roll 2 d10s. And I have a set right here. And I am going to be adding, it says, when you face strain, suffer 1 spirit for minor stress, -2 for serious, or 3 for major. If your spirit is 0, you lose momentum. Then, if your spirit is 0, you choose to resist the stress, roll plus spirit or plus heart, whichever is higher. Well, my spirit is not 0. My spirit right now is at 4. And it's getting ready to, this is a minor stress. I don't think this is a major stress. It's minor. He's been out on his own in the middle of nowhere with his previous mentor, Titus Core. So I'm going to lower my spirit to 3. And I don't have to make a roll. If your spirit is 0, or you choose to resist the stress. You know what? If I choose to resist it, something bad could happen. On a miss, it's worse than you thought. Suffer an additional -1 or lose momentum. If your spirit is 0, you must also mark shaken or traumatized. So right now, I'm just going to take it. I'm going to accept that, this is, Jax knows he's nervous, but he's going to hide it. He's going to try to put on a good face for Dervish, because that's his only companion on the ship right now. So after we take the stress, there's really no reason to hang on the station. Jax does not really care for Bulwark Station. It is a very rough orbital, a lot of comings and goings of ship captains and crews, but it's not a place you hang out and vacation. So he really has no desire to stay here. But if he leaves, he recognizes that he's going to have to point the ship in a direction. He can't go back to Providence right now. Kira has given him specific orders, go out and investigate. So in order to do that, I need to prepare. We're not going to do begin to session. We're going to start. Let's see, what would we be doing? Check your gear. I don't need to check the gear. Let's do, fulfill, gather, lose, make a discovery, overcome, reach a milestone, secure an advantage, set a course. There we go. 14. So this is one of those examples of moves. Set a course. When you follow a known route through perilous space, across hazardous terrain, or within a mysterious site, roll on supply. So obviously my ship does have a certain amount of supply. Roll plus supply. So my supply right now is 5. So I'm going to be rolling plus supply, which means I add my supply to this D6 for the roll. So let's roll it. And what you want, you want the D6 total to be greater than the 2 D10s. And in case you have the book and you're wondering where the rules are for the rolls, I'll tell you they're on page, because you're gonna be doing these quite a bit. They are on page, 32. 32 has the basics instructions. So I'm not adding a stat. I'm adding supply. So let's roll it. Now 4 plus my supply of 5 is 9. And 9 does beat these 2 4s. So that is called a strong hit. And it says on a strong hit, you reach your destination. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. So of course, on a strong hit, you reach your destination and the situation there favors you. Take +1 momentum. My momentum is now up to +3, but my destination was not the coordinates. It's going to involve probably 2 or 3 or maybe more jumps to get there. This kind of ship is a smaller ship, so it doesn't make large jumps. It doesn't have the fuel or the energy charges to do that. So it makes smaller jumps. So I was able to make the first jump. However, I rolled doubles. I rolled 2 4s. And it says, there's a rule on page 34 that says when you roll matches. On a strong hit, double match. When you make a roll, check the value of the challenge dice. If they're the same, you rolled a match. You can let the outcome of an action influence the nature of a match. Strong hit, the match should represent a twist in the narrative, something interesting or a new opportunity. So this first jump that we made, because I rolled the doubles and it was a success or a strong hit, not a strong miss. A strong miss is where these both are higher than this total, and what do you call it? Not a normal miss. There's a strong hit, a weak hit. A weak hit is where one of these is less and the other is greater. So I did a strong hit. So on this first stop, and remember, we're going out in the middle of nowhere. I'm going to ask the Oracle to help guide me on what we might have discovered out here. So the way we do this is there are charts for the Oracle. Let me do this. Let me flip back to the back. You can ask the Oracle to help you figure out what have I discovered here. And there's a lot of strange stuff out here. So let's do this. Let's find the Oracle. You will be moving through the book quite a bit here, using the oracles. Here we go. I want to ask it, what have I stumbled upon? Here we go. Space Encounter, page 300. I am in the Outlands, I believe. I'm not in the Expanse. I am still in the Outlands. Got to remember where so the Terminus is the most populated area, and then you have the Outlands, and then you have the Expanse. I am operating sort of on the border of the Outlands and the Expanse, but I'm not going into the Expanse. So we're in the Outlands right now, which means I'm going to be rolling on this second column. It's a D100, and I rolled a 16. A 16 on the Outlands is a planet. Great. So it's not like I showed up in its orbit. As soon as we make the first jump, Dervish notifies me that we have found a planet. There's an uncharted planet that is in the significant distance. It would require a couple jumps to get to it. But from this point, we can do a few rolls to determine what the planet is. And to do that, we're going to roll on page 306, and this is a D100. And I rolled a 96. 96 is a tainted world. So we've discovered, now again, I won't be able to go too deep into what's on here because my sensors can only pick up so much. But let's do a couple rolls on the tainted world. Every one of these planets has its own table here. I can scan for its atmosphere. Let's see what it is. That is a 20. Blue is high, by the way. 20 is toxic. So Dervish tells me, oh, the planet's atmosphere is totally toxic. We would need a suit to go out there. I can't detect if there's any settlements, but observable from space, 40. Sky breaching fungus. Dervish informs me there is some type of fungus that is reaching up from the surface into the clouds. And it does appear alive and moving, but definitely looks dangerous, possibly even dangerous to a ship in low orbit. And that is about all I can come up with. Now, because it's a new planet, it needs a designation. So I'm going to roll a D10 and I'm going to count down from the top here. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dervish informs me that she's checked the current database, and the planet Drek is one of the random names that has been assigned for new planets found in this area. So the name of it is Drek, D-R-E-C-K. I tell Dervish to log its coordinates, but we do not have time to investigate this.
Check out the new RPG and Wargame newsletter. Each week, the Tabletop Engineer shares news, products, Kickstarters, and much more related to the gaming hobby. It's free to subscribe, so check out the link in the video description below to sign up.
Do not have time to investigate this. So we have set a course, we have discovered a planet, which this is not as big of a deal as it might sound. Lots of planets have been found out here in the Outlands and in the what do you call it? Went blank on it. The Outlands and the Expanse. The Expanse is the bigger unknown area. So finding a new planet is always nice, but often you find that they're just uninhabitable, they're poisonous, what have you. So I'll mark it, and we will continue the course. Now, the coordinates that we're doing, before we jump again, I asked Dervish, I say, okay, these coordinates, you say you're confident in the mathematics that the Wayfarers have used, you've confirmed it, that the conversion of the actual images that are in the photo they took, you've double checked and ran them, and Dervish does some pausing, and she says, well, the symbols that are on the image, since they're unknown, what we can do is there are certain guesses that you can make based on numbers. If you assume based on the symbols that it's a set of coordinates, there are certain symbols that are repeated over and over, and they are in clusters. And she goes into this real long explanation, and I'm just like, just give me the. How confident are you that these numbers are real coordinates? Let's see what she says. 76%. 76%. So I am going to use that number. I'm gonna use that number in a future roll somewhere. 76%. Dervish is confident. That's 3/4. I don't like that. That's not good odds. But going on less information, she says, that this is all we have. This is the best information that we can use. So now this first course took a number of hours. It's nighttime, or at least for me, it is bedtime. I am going to ask Dervish to dim the lights. I am going to go to bed, and I'm going to ask her to make the next course jump, and only wake me if it's an emergency or something that you feel I really need to be aware of. So we're going to do it again. We're going to set another course, and we're going to roll again. And I'm rolling on my supply. My supply hasn't dropped. We've got plenty of fuel, so we're doing good. 3 + 5 is 8, and 8 beats a 1 and a 3. So it's a strong hit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to check these off. Let's roll a D10. Let's roll a D5. And this is how many jumps plus what I've done. Okay, 3 plus, I've already done, so 3 more. 1, 2, 3. So I just did a jump. We found a planet. Nothing here. Strong hit. I trust my AI, and so she doesn't wake me up. She will wake me up after the third one. So we're going to make another course. Oh, this is not good. So 3 + 5 is 8. It does not beat this, and it doesn't beat this. Is it equal to or less than? I believe it's equal to or less than. Let me double check that. Page 23, or no, 29, was it? Hold on just a second. Here we go. So when you beat, does the action score, is it equal to or less than? To determine it, check if the score beats the individual values. Oh, can't be equal. It's got to beat them. So in this case, I did not beat them. That is a miss, double miss. Your action score doesn't beat either challenge die. You fail or must make serious concessions. On the failure, you are waylaid by a significant threat and must pay the price. If you overcome this obstacle, you may push on safely. So somewhere in the night, we made the third jump, and I wake to the sirens. The sirens are going off. I jump out of my bed. I'm running to the bridge and I'm yelling, Dervish, what is up? So first thing we need to do is a significant threat. And there's actually a chart for that. Not knowing what, not thinking about this, I'm gonna ask the Oracle what this is. If I can find it again. Here we go, Oracle. All right, actions, descriptive, space encounters. We're gonna have another encounter. Now, I'm gonna say that this line right here is us moving more into the expanse. So I'm gonna roll on the expanse side. And this is a D100, and it is a 13. We've encountered a stellar object. Now, the only reason I can think of that Dervish would have set the alarms and woken me from a good sleep is that this stellar object is somehow a danger to my ship. Spaceborne Peril, 304. Let's roll it. That is an 83. An 83 is a stellar anomaly emitting hazardous energy. Anomaly emitting hazardous energy. I asked Dervish, how hazardous? And let's, Dervish is going to answer. I'm going to roll the 2 dice. The blue is my health, and the green is the energy. If the energy is greater here, it's going to be not good. But if it's close, I have a little time. If it's really far away, let's just roll it and see. Okay. I rolled a 1 for green and a 7. She informs me the hazardous energy is reaching the ship. The shields are doing enough to block it, but it's so intense it's going to overload the shields, and we need to make another jump immediately. Now, when you come out of a jump, you don't immediately make another jump. You really want to charge your ship's batteries again. Maybe the engine needs to cool down just a hair. So making another sudden jump may not necessarily be so good for the ship. Let's see what it is. So we now have to, if you remember, I need to do a pay the price. There's a card here called Pay the Price. It says make the most obvious negative outcome happen. It says I can roll or choose. Let's roll. It's a D100. Let's roll. That is a 38. 38 is something of value is lost or destroyed. Okay? So I tell Dervish, I say, we need to jump, and we need to jump now. That energy, as soon as it overwhelms the shield, she informs me, as soon as these shields are overwhelmed, you could be in very serious health risk. But you also know, Jax, that jumping too soon also comes with risks. I ask her what kind, and she says, well, we could suffer some damage to the ship. That's the most likely thing. But I don't have a choice. I've got to do this. So I am going to put the ship at a slight risk because my roll says that it said that your equipment or vehicle, where was it? What did I roll? 38? Something of value is lost or destroyed. So I tell her, doesn't matter. Make the jump. Do it now. And we're going to jump to this fourth one. So we need to do set a course. Again. Oh, okay. 2 plus supply is 7. I don't beat this, but I do beat this. So it is a weak hit. On a weak hit, you arrive, but face a cost or complication. We already knew that. So as soon as we make the jump, I hear a really unusual noise. I know this ship. I know that this ship does not make certain sounds. And I also know the engines. I mean, I'm trained in fixing the ship and doing certain repairs. And I immediately asked Dervish for a damage report. Something, I can hear it. So Dervish starts, I can tell that she's calculating, and I let her do the job. While she's doing that, I am going to, I'm going to check the shields. The shields are fine. They're not the thing that are destroyed. It's obviously probably something in the engine. What my question is how bad? The ship is going to be blue. The damage will be green. I hope the ship beats the green. I'm going to re-roll that. Okay, it's close. So yes, we are going to have to do something. Now remember, my ship has a workshop on it, which for me makes sense. I need to be able to do repairs in the field, and it says when you repair in the field, we're gonna have to do something. So, after just another minute or so, Dervish comes back and she gives me this really long technical description of something that has happened in the engine, and I cut her off. I say, Dervish, I'm sorry, just get to the meat of it. And she tells me that we will be unable to make the next jump. We may have to make the next jump in even smaller increments, which is really not safe. I mean, you never know what I want to get to my final task or my coordinates, and I want to just look at it, and I want to get back and report this to Kiera. So I tell her, I say, is it something that can be repaired by me? It is something that can be repaired. It's going to slow us down. But what other choice do I have? So I tell her, I say, well, let's get on it. Let me go to the workshop and get my tools. Am I going to need some spare parts? Dervish starts telling me the specific parts that I'm going to have to pull from inventory. Our supply is still at 5. We have the parts we need. Now, outside the game, let's talk about that. Supplies is just a number from 0 to 5. If I was at, say, 1 or 2, story-wise, I would probably want to make a roll to see if the part I need is in inventory. But because I'm still at 5, I haven't had to lower my inventory. I feel confident it's there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the repair move. And remember, this reference book has them all in order by alphabetically. Repair is on page 21. So on page 21, when you make repairs to your vehicles, envision the situation and roll. If you must make your own repairs, you add plus wits, and my workshop allows me to add plus 1. Now, my wits, thankfully, are my highest. They're 3. Obtain repairs from someone else, you roll plus supply. So let's do this. After consulting with Dervish and looking at the schematics, I've identified the part I need to replace. It's a little risky, but it's nothing I haven't done before, so I feel pretty confident with my roll. However, there's always something, anytime you mess with the engines of these ships, there's always something that can go wrong. So I'm going to be adding my wits and the plus 1 because my workshop gives me a plus 1. So I'm adding plus 4 to the red die. There we go. 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 beats 6 and 2. So that is a strong hit. I am in the field, a strong hit. On a hit, you gain repair points as appropriate to the situation per the table below. You may sacrifice resources in exchange for minus 1 supply for 1 extra point. But you know what? I don't have to. I got a strong hit, 3 points. Clearing the impact on a vehicle is about worth 2 points. Fixing a broken module, 2 points. I think this qualifies as fix a broken module, 2 points. And since I scored 3, I was able to make the repair. However, a number of hours have gone by. 10 plus 10 hours. That's a whole sleep cycle. So we're almost to our destination, but I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And I'm not willing to have her make the next jump with me asleep. So I am going to pause, take a nap, or sleep, and when I wake up, we'll make the final jump. And that's going to be it for this episode. I keep these under 30 minutes, and this one's right now at 29 and a half minutes. So I'll be back next week with the next episode. I welcome your comments and questions. If you have any, please post them. I can't guarantee I'll answer them or can answer them, but I'll do my best. All right, this is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me as I played another episode of Starforged. I hope you'll join me next week when I post the next episode. Until then, everybody, take care.